26th, 2020. It is entitled, Dear Adam Schiff, Shove It. I normally strive to stay civil in my writing. Not this time. Adam Schiff distorts the truth so far beyond reason, it's time for all of America to tell him to shove it. For years now, this human being who represents California's 28th congressional district has regularly tweeted arrogant, disrespectful comments directed at President Trump. On March 24th, Schiff tweeted yet another list of insults, starting with, quote, "First, Trump fails to take coronavirus seriously, losing precious weeks." Remember, this is coming from Adam Schiff, the same representative whose questionable relationship with Ukraine and Igor Pasternak leads me to ask many questions about Schiff's involvement with possible cover-ups in money laundering. This is the same Adam Schiff who regularly got in front of any TV camera he could find to say his committee had plenty of evidence of collusion, always saying he couldn't go into particulars. But when the opportunity came to present the evidence, Schiff came up empty. This is the same Adam Schiff whose actions were described by Congressman Devin Nunes as, quote, "a gross abuse of power," when Schiff may have illegally obtained and released phone records of political opponents and their staffers, as well as a reporter Schiff didn't like. And yes, this is the same Adam Schiff who is being sued to release information about obtaining those controversial subpoenas for his enemies' phone records, and is now claiming sovereign immunity, seeking to keep his records covered up. And while the legacy media conveniently ignores all of the above, Schiff arrogantly tweets out insults against President Trump. A short video piqued my curiosity about events happening in January and February. So to illustrate Adam Schiff's dearth of intellectual honesty and his propensity to spin deceptions, let's examine a timeline of events showing the overlap of COVID-19's outbreak with impeachment proceedings. January 11th. China reports their first death from the virus, January 12th. White House prepares to respond to impeachment articles, January 14th. House Democrats release documents from a Giuliani associate about Ukraine, January 15th. Nancy Pelosi hands out golden pens after signing the articles of impeachment. January 19th, the United States has its first case of the virus. January 22nd, House managers make opening arguments on impeachment. The proceedings continue until February 3rd. January 22nd, with 17 dead, China suspends all outbound public transport from Wuhan. January 29th, United States senators begin asking their questions in the impeachment trial. January 30th, the World Health Organization declares a global health emergency. January 30th, Nancy Pelosi says House could take further action if Senate acquits. January 31st, Trump declares public health emergency, restricts travel from China. January 31st, Trump administration drastically escalates its response to the coronavirus epidemic, requiring quarantines and health screenings. January 31st, Senate votes against calling witnesses to testify in the Senate. February 3rd, House impeachment arguments come to a close. February 4th, Democrat House members and the World Health Organization criticize Trump's decision to restrict travel from China. February 4th, in his State of the Union speech, Trump addresses the COVID-19 outbreak. February 4th, Nancy Pelosi rips up her copy of the State of the Union speech on national television. February 5th, U.S. Senate votes to acquit President Trump on impeachment charges. February 6th, Nancy Pelosi press conference defends ripping up Trump's falsehoods. February 9th, Pelosi criticizes Trump's budget, even with its increases to Medicare and Medicaid. February 13th, Pelosi accuses Attorney General Barr of damaging the rule of law. February 13th, Pelosi criticizes Trump for abuse of power and talking about Roger Stone. February 13th, Pelosi accuses Trump of politicizing the intelligence community. February 22nd, Trump appoints Vice President Pence to oversee U.S. government's virus response team. February 22nd, Pelosi makes misleading statements about Trump, also criticizes Trump for acting too late on the virus. As we can see, Schiff and Pelosi seem to have been more preoccupied with removing Trump from office using fabricated accusations than preventing a pandemic. Even after Trump's acquittal and a public health emergency had been declared, House Democrats continued focusing their time and energy on attacking the president. Given the above timeline of events, For Adam Schiff to tweet, "Trump fails to take coronavirus seriously, losing precious weeks," is so laughable it deserves to be mocked. Allow me to offer an analogy. Picture a playground bully making specious accusations against a teacher, attempting to deflect attention from his own misdeeds. While the teacher stands on the playground listening to the bully's accusations, someone sneaks into the classroom and slips a frog into the bully's backpack. The bully later makes a scene to the rest of the students, accusing the teacher of being incapable of protecting a backpack. It's that asinine. To learn how much Pelosi and Schiff were concerned about the COVID-19 outbreak, I decided to take a rather deep dive into last month's news articles and videos. I did searches for articles and videos published from the time the administration announced the public health emergency until the time Trump appointed Vice President Pence to oversee the coronavirus response team. Guess what? Not once did I find any news article or video about the coronavirus in that time frame that also had the words Adam Schiff or Nancy Pelosi. Okay, there was one. It was Sean Hannity's interview of President Trump. The New York Times reported on that interview with a piece titled, "Trump Defends Closing Borders to Travelers to Fight Coronavirus." They quote Trump saying, "We pretty much shut it down coming in from China. We can't have thousands of people coming in who may have this problem, the coronavirus. We're going to see what happens, but we did shut it down, yes." Then, at the end of the interview, Hannity asks Trump a question about Pelosi totally unrelated to the virus. Apparently, in the weeks between shutting down travel from China and Pence being announced as the head of the COVID-19 task force, neither Schiff nor Pelosi found the virus to be a topic worth mentioning. Instead, it seems all House Democrats and their legacy media lapdogs did, and continue to do, is look for ways to attack and criticize the president. As a side note, I must pay a compliment to Adam Schiff. When it comes to feigning indignation, disappointment, and sorrow, Schiff is a much better actor than Representative Jerry Nadler or Nancy Pelosi. After observing Adam Schiff for years now, I think he's so sold out to his cause that it's impossible to have a reasoned argument with the man. That doesn't mean we can't pray for him, but if he stays on his present course, I believe he will continue to fabricate and obfuscate, that he will continue to ascribe motives to President Trump that Trump does not have, and that he will continue to say disparaging things about Donald Trump and obstruct America's national healing, all for the sake of political posturing. Because of that, I also think it's time for all of America to tell Adam what he is so fond of saying to others with his feigned indignation. Enough already. And I also think that with Schiff's track record of behavior, the title of this column bears repeating. Dear Adam Schiff, shove it.